on the phone with us right now, we have the legendary drummer, Kenny Aaronoff. Kenny, how are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having me on. Wonderful to be here.
So, Kenny, you got so much going on right now in your life. Hey, please tell us what you're doing now.
Well, I mean, my life is basically I have my own studio, Uncommon Studios LA, where people send me files from all over the world.
Right.
I record drums on their songs, records. I'm actually doing 7 songs today, 4 artists. I write every note out. Everything is written out before I even record, so I can go bam, 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 bam. I have an engineer, and we do it. Everything's always mic'd up. I mean, it's a full-blown studio, and so that's a big part of my life. I've even done Access TV in there where Sammy Hagar was interviewing Steve Lukather. And so that's the recording part of my life, besides doing other studios where I record. But then I just finished doing a U.S. tour with Joe Satriani to promote his last 2 records, which I played on. And then we did G4 in Vegas. We're featuring, we did a concert with Joe Satriani. Then it was the next night was like Steve Morse and Eric Gales. And then the next night was Steve Lukather with another guitar player. And then I think we played with Prince. And then the next night was Peter Frampton.
Wow.
Another artist.
Oh, Peter Frampton.
It was, and it was 40. I mean, it's 40 songs. It took months to prepare for this. And once again, I write everything out. I know the tempos. I know the arrangements. Because these rehearsals, you only get an hour to rehearse 6 songs.
Wow.
And that's not an easy thing to do. Then I'm about to do 2 festival shows with Rome and Duddy. Rome is the lead singer from Sublime, and Duddy is a country artist. And we're going to do a couple festivals. So I'm writing those songs out starting tomorrow and prepare for that. And then I'm doing a European tour with Satriani, April 1st to June 5th. I have a speaking business where I do inspirational speaking, talking about teamwork, leadership, connecting, communicating, and collaborating skills,
Wow.
innovation, creativity, which is the key thing to solving problems. I talk about realizing your purpose in life and how to adapt or die to stay relevant in any business. Those things I speak about, but there's also in my second book that I'm editing right now, which the working title right now is Time, Live Your Life Loud. And basically what that means is life is short.
Right.
Realize what your passion, your deepest desires, your purpose, your truth, your bliss, whatever you want to call it. Realize what that is in your heart, not your brain, in your heart, and then act on it. Socrates said the key to happiness is to realize your purpose in life and then act on it. Act on it. And Mark Twain said the 2 most important days in a person's life is the day they were born.
Yep.
And the second one, and I'm going to paraphrase. Are you allowed to swear on this show?
No, we can't do that.
Don't worry. So the second part is basically, what are you friggin' doing here? What are you doing here? Figure out what, when you're born, that's a miracle. But then from that point on, man, life is short. Figure out what you're doing here and go after it.
Absolutely.
And I came out with a wine. Jeff Krause actually introduced me to a guy called Ian White, who has a winery in Napa Valley called Smith Devereaux. And we created a Cab Syrah blend, which is an amazing wine. It won an award for presentation. It's got a bronze coin of my face with glasses on the bottle. You can pull it off.
Nice.
And, wear it as a chain or whatever. But it's an incredibly smooth wine. You can drink it without having food. It's that smooth. It's smooth. It's a meal in itself. It's not a cheap wine, but the value is incredible. And there's actually a charity that's attached to it for mental illness.
Okay.
We only made 562 bottles of it. So maybe there's 160 bottles left. We did a special event at East West Studios in LA on December 15th. It was great. It was amazing. And in that studio, I had recorded, Iggy Pop, Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell 2, I'll Do Anything Love, but I Won't Do That. That was on that album. I did Elton John.
Wow.
Bonnie Raitt, B.B. King, all kinds of records in that studio. So that was really, really awesome.
and we are talking to the legendary Kenny Aaronoff. Kenny, you've been busy, man. I can't believe all the stuff that you've done.
Oh, I know, man. I was born a workaholic.
Now, I have a quick question for you. Did you teach yourself how to play the drums, or did it come natural?
Yeah. No. I mean, my whole story is I saw the Beatles on TV at 10 years old. Ed Sullivan Show, and I was at that split second that I realized I want to be part of a band. I want to play with a team of musicians.
Right.
I realized that was my purpose in life. That's what I want to do. And the cool thing is 50 years later, I became famous and Kenny Aaronoff, and I get asked to do a CBS special called The Night That Changed America, honoring the Beatles for that Ed Sullivan Show that 73 million people saw in North America. And the beautiful thing was I got to play with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, the two remaining Beatles.
Did you really?
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I got the chills this now, because that you know what, that must be a most amazing experience.
Well, I mean, I'm like Tom Brady, man. I am so ridiculously prepared for everything. I don't trust anything. We're humans. You have to repeat skills in order to prepare to be successful. I understand it. I take nothing for granted.
Right.
I practice all the time. I go over it. When I do a show like that, of course, that was a real emotional challenge because I'm like, really, I cannot believe what's happened. But when I'm in a show like that or preparing for a show like that, it's all business. It's serious. It's like, it's all business in between songs.
Right.
In between songs, when they're making either a set change or we're waiting for one artist to go off stage, another one come on. By the way, I get the script of the show. I know where everybody's moving. I know who has to talk in the teleprompter. I have a tempo of every song I count off. Wow. I know who has to tune their guitars.
Wow.
Because it's a live show, 14 camera shoot. You don't mess up.
No.
So what I do is as soon as one song is done, I set my click track to the next tempo and I'm rehearsing the count off. And if I start a fill like I did in the song Something, it's boom, 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 boom. So I go 3, 4,
right.
Boom, 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 3, 4, until I get the light from the stage manager, which means we're going live again.
Right.
And when I count off, it's like impeccably perfect because I just did it 20 times. That's
unbelievable.
So I don't think about Paul or Ringo. I mean, when I'm playing with Ringo and he's singing Boy and we're doing double drums, I could pinch myself, but I say focus, stay in the game. At the end of the show, you can jump up and down and go nuts. But right now, it's the Super Bowl. Do your job.
Yeah.
Focus on your mission. That's how I am with everything I do, because I realize, there's only so much time in my life to do what I'm going to do, and I take everything very, very seriously.
And that's amazing. That's an amazing story. Now, talking about doing the fills and stuff, your one fill, your little drum solo that you do in Jack and Diane is famous. Mm-hmm. I mean, tell us about that a little bit.
All right, I'll try to make it fast. So when I got in the band with John, in 2 days of recording, I was excited. I told everybody I made it, all the hard work, self-discipline, perseverance, my education, I'm in flow, everything's rocking. And after 2 days of recording on Nothing Matters and What If It Did album, I'd only been in the band 5 weeks, I get fired.
Right.
All right, I'm devastated. John tells me to go home. I tell him I ain't going nowhere. I mean, I was in a fight or flight mode. Right. So I learned that it's not about me, it's about the song, it's about the artist, it's about serving. So let's fast forward 2 years later. I'm still in the band, and I'm like, I vowed I'm going to be on the next record. I'm going to redeem myself.
Right.
And so it was the hardest record I've ever recorded. John was going through a divorce. He was about to lose his record deal again, and he had a motorcycle accident, which I'll tell you about in a second.
Right.
But I walk in the studio one day, and the co-producer has this metal box, and I went, Don, what's that? He goes, well, yeah, the Bee Gees are using that next door. It's the newest thing. It's a new sound. It's called the Lin 1 drum machine. I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me? A drum machine? They replace drummers. I'm freaking out.
No way.
So I'm like, I got replaced by two humans 2 years ago. Now I'm getting replaced by a machine. So this is a very, very heavy moment. Instead of like going, woe is me,
right,
and leaving, I got into a fight or flight mode, which says something about me. And I call this
these are pivotal moments in people's lives,
Right.
in their careers. It's like adapt or die.
Yeah.
In other words, there's no way I was going to die. I grabbed the machine, grabbed the manual. I programmed the beat that I was playing on the drum set, but of course it sounds different because it's all these new sounds and it's electronic and it's precise. And I give the machine back to them, and I'm like in the lounge going like, what the hell's going on? I mean,
Right.
am I being replaced by machines? Is the drummer going out? Am I the horse and buggy business? And the car showed up and all this stuff. And then I'm summoned by John 2 hours later. It's like, hey, Aaronoff, we need a drum solo right here after the second chorus. And I'm like, what? On a ballad, a drum solo, radio? I'm like going, I'm thinking this. I'm excited. I'm on the song, but I'm freaking out that I could mess it up and get fired. It's kind of like save the song, save your career.
Right.
Save the song,
save your career.
So thank God we spent all day trying to get big drum sounds, because back then drums were usually in small rooms like vocal booths because they could control the sound better. But John wanted the biggest drum sound in the world, and he wanted the drums in the middle of this humongous room.
Right.
And the engineers didn't know how to mic. I mean, you got your close mics, you got your overhead mics, but they didn't know where to put the room mics and how far away and the delay and all this stuff. The whole time I'm thinking, from what I'd learned from the other record, serve the song,
right.
Serve the artist, serve the band, get this song on the record to get on the radio to be a #1 hit.
Right.
Because that's the purpose of a drummer.
Yes.
My purpose, my goal is not about me. It's about get the song on the radio to be #1. Because if it is, then we score a touchdown, we win the Super Bowl.
There you go.
And I didn't know that. When you're young, you think it's all about me. How's my beat? How do I sound? No. It's about get the song. It's about the team. So I'm thinking, okay, I got to come up with something that's going to explode through little car stereo speakers or through TV set speakers.
Right.
I'm thinking that now. And so long and short of it, I have to come up with that solo on the spot, or I was going to get fired in my mind. And so it's a long process, but I eventually come up with that solo.
All right.
I am so grateful that this song, Jack and Diane, which was not going to even make the record,
right,
because we didn't know how to arrange it. You know, we were young. It gets on the record. They released Hurt So Good, and back then, album and rock radio stations would play every song on a record, and then people would call in, and the radio stations would listen to what people wanted to hear.
Right.
Well, Hurt So Good went to #2. Eye the Tiger was #1. Rocky was out. There was no way we were going to #1
right,
because of that. So the Hurt So Good starts to go down the charts a little bit on the top 100, and they decide they're going to release Jack and Diane because everybody liked the story. They liked the song. They released it, and that son of a gun went to #1.
Damn.
While Hurt So Good stayed in the top 10. John's career blows up. We win 2 Grammys. We're all over MTV. We're everywhere.
Yep.
And Jack and Diane's #1. My career takes off because it's like, whoa, who's that drummer?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the beginning of launching my career. But I'm going to tell you something. The hotel room at the Chateau Marmont, where I was when I got fired 2 years later, I was in the same room when Jack and Diane went to #1. Now, that's amazing, but here's what I did. I celebrated for 2 seconds, and then fear stepped into my soul. I was like, oh, my God, I'm not #1. I'm not that good.
Right.
Oh, my God, I got to do it again. But when am I going to do it again? John hasn't written a song. If he hasn't written a song, I don't know what drum beat I'm going to do.
Right.
And I kept thinking, I need to do it again. And I was like, already, once isn't enough.
Right.
I didn't trust it. And that kind of attitude and energy of it's not if you become successful, it's how do you stay successful.
Exactly.
Has made me successful for over 4 decades in the music business. I've recorded over 300 million records sold.
Wow. That's amazing.
1,300 gold, platinum, diamond albums, which, you saw behind me in my office. I only got a couple up. And it's just 60 nominated or 1 Grammys, and I'm still going strong. I just won Modern Drummer Readers Poll.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Best session drummer. Well, that's the 6th time. I won 5 years in a row back in the 80s and 90s, and they actually threw me off the poll because I kept winning, which I thought was stupid. And now here I am a gazillion years later, winning again. And the takeaway for me is I'm still relevant. That's the point.
Right.
I'm not in John Mellencamp's band. I'm not on the top, 10 best songs or top 100 on the radio right now, but I'm still recognized as that guy. And that's what you want to be. If you want to stay successful, you want to stay relevant.
Wow, that's
what
unbelievable.
That award means to me.
Yeah, and you're great at it, And we don't have much time left, but I want to ask you a question. I know that you witnessed John Mellencamp have a motorcycle accident. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Oh man, it was horrible. Okay, right before that record that we did in Miami, American Fool, where it had Jack and Diane Herschel Good, we're a week away from going. We're going into town to have some drinks, probably like pick up some girls. We're going on this old country road. John passes us on his Harley. Me and the bass player in a little Volkswagen Beetle. He passes us about 80 miles an hour, gives us the finger on his Harley, and then it's dark. All of a sudden, we see sparks fly and kind of an explosion.
Wow.
And we slam on our brakes and go, "Oh my effing God!" And we think he's dead. And what had happened? He passed us. A big dog jumped out of a farm, past a farm. We went past a farm. A big dog jumped out, hit the bike. Bike goes down. John jumps on the bike, spinning down this country road on pavement. Right before it hit the tree, he jumps off. The bike explodes. He's alive. He's limping. He's in shock. He's limping across the road. Then he's limping across the other way. We cannot believe it. And then an ambulance comes. John looked out. He only messed up his knee. Son of a gun. He made sure his Harley was down there in Miami. He was riding it with a cast on.
That's a true rider right there.
And that's the story. I mean, which made him not in a very good mood while we were
I can imagine. I mean, I can't say that's an awesome story, but it's an awesome story. You know what I mean? How you got back on that bike. But real quick, I want to go back to your wine, okay?
Yeah.
Are the wine bottles numbered? Like, is it like collector's items?
I think they are. I think they are numbered. There's only 562 bottles. It's a Cab Syrah. It's about $100 bottle of wine. It tastes like it. You can get it at Smith Devereux. Oh, God, I don't know how to spell Devereux. It's Devereux.
Okay, awesome.
Devereux. Yep. Devereux. Smith.
Beautiful.
Devereux. And it's called Uncommon. I have my own page, and it's a charity for mental illness. And it's incredible. So there's about 160 bottles left. We're going to keep coming out with one every year.
Awesome. Awesome.
But it's really, really cool. It's so good. It's got a coin on it, a bronze coin, a real heavy one that you can pull it off the bottle and either put in your pocket or there's a keychain you can attach it to. There's a booklet about me and my philosophy about, connecting, communicating, collaborating, innovation, creativity, and it's incredible. I'm excited.
Awesome. So how does somebody, where are you going? We're going to be next. What's your next, where are you going to be?
Yeah. I'm doing, I'm playing with a couple gigs and festivals with Rome and Duddy. Rome is the lead singer of Sublime. I'm going to do a European tour with Joe Satriani, April 1st through June 5th in Europe. I'm doing a big show in Vegas with Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts. He has the Jim Irsay collection featuring Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Mike Mills from REM, Ann Wilson, Billy Gibbons, and Stephen Stills, and Vince Gill. And then I have another big show in Vegas where it's for the Cleveland Brain Center of some sort, and they have people like Alice Cooper, John Mayer, Kevin Cronin from REO. Who else is in there? Alice Cooper, and on it's 12 big artists. The single from Chad from Nickelback, and then I'm editing my book. I'm doing sessions in my studio. I just recorded 7 songs last night in my studio, and it just goes on and on.
Oh, wow. All right. So, guys, check out Kenny Aaronoff. And what's your website? You got a website, right?
Oh, yeah. It's killer. It's www.kenny, Kenny, Aaronoff, Aronoff. I'm on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. I have 3 Facebook pages. And, but if you go to my website, you'll see everything.
That's awesome, Kenny. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we wish you the best of luck and kick ass out there, brother.
Of course I do.
All right.
Never say die, man.
We'll talk to you soon.